Sunlight filtered through heavy blinds, casting golden ripples across hardwood floors. My name is Carson Blake, 52, real estate developer by trade, husband by legality, father by blood, but even those words feel foreign now. They used to define my world, until everything I believed in, everything I built, shattered under the weight of temptation. It began on an ordinary Tuesday. My son, Landon, brought her home after work. Amanda, 27, caramel skin, oceanic eyes, lips like forbidden fruit, and a laugh that curled around my bones. She entered our lives like a summer storm, unannounced, wild, intoxicating. I should have looked away. I should have ignored that magnetic pull every time she smiled at me while Landon looked elsewhere. But my body had its own treacherous memory. One I couldn't shake. Marianne, my wife of 29 years, had long stopped noticing me. We lived under the same roof, yet shared no warmth. Her kisses felt mechanical. Her hugs evaporated before I could hold on to them. Our home became a museum of lost affection, memories hung like dusty portraits on silent walls. But Amanda, she awakened something feral. She wore confidence like silk. When she walked, time slowed. When she spoke, words turned sensual. I caught her watching me when she thought no one else did. Long stares, shy smiles. Games neither of us should have played, but we danced anyway. Landon adored her. He flaunted their relationship like a trophy. "Dad," he'd boast, "she's the best thing to happen to me." And I'd nod, hiding the jealousy that burned under my skin like wildfire. One evening, while Landon was out running errands, Amanda remained behind. Said she had a headache. I offered her aspirin. She refused. I poured her a glass of wine. She accepted. We sat across from each other in the dim kitchen. Her dress, crimson and clinging, exposed more than just skin. It revealed secrets she wanted to share. She leaned forward, breath soft. "Carson, do you think I'm a good fit for this family?" I swallowed hard. "You light it up." She smiled, then stood. Her fingers brushed mine, lightly, deliberately. Every neuron in my body screamed for restraint, but my resolve cracked under her touch. I reached for her wrist. "Don't," she whispered. "I'm sorry," I muttered. She didn't move away. Instead, she stepped closer, until our breaths mingled. I said don't, not stop. Our lips collided like colliding stars, violent yet exquisite. Her moan ignited my nerves. My hands gripped her waist, pulling her close. We were lost in shadows, sin, and longing. A kiss turned into frenzy. We didn't think. We couldn't. We disappeared into the dark hallway, her heels echoing like war drums of betrayal. The guest bedroom door slammed behind us. Fabric tore. Nails dug. Our bodies moved like poetry, desperate, doomed, divine. Lust consumed morality. Guilt drowned under pleasure. Her whispers broke me. Her screams stitched me whole. Afterward, silence loomed. Amanda sat upright, hair tangled, eyes unreadable. "Do you regret it?" I lit a cigarette. "I should. But you don't." I exhaled smoke. "No." She stood, gathering her clothes. "Neither do I." We began meeting in secret. Hotels, secluded parks, my downtown condo. She said Landon bored her. Said I thrilled her. I wanted to believe it was more than lust, that something deeper connected us. And for a while it felt like it. But passion doesn't hide forever. One night, Landon walked into the condo. Amanda was naked in my arms. His scream was primal. He launched at me. Fists flew. Blood spilled. Amanda shrieked, covering herself with a blanket. "Dad?" he bellowed. "My father? My own father? I never meant." "Shut the hell up," he roared. Amanda cried. "Landon, Get out. Both of you." That night, everything exploded. Marianne filed immediately. Said she knew for months. Said she waited for me to confess. Her fury was volcanic. She emptied our joint account, changed locks, sold my favorite car. My phone buzzed nonstop with rage from friends, family, colleagues. I lost contracts. Invitations disappeared. My face splashed across tabloids. Father steals son's bride. Amanda moved in with me. We hid from the world in the condo. She whispered dreams of running away to Bali, of restarting life somewhere nameless. But guilt lingered like perfume. I tried to bury it under her kisses. 6 months passed. One day, Amanda sat at the window, distant. "Do you think we made a mistake?" I hesitated. "Do you?" She turned to me. "Maybe." "What changed?" "You did." I stood silent. She walked away. A week later, she was gone. Left no note. Just vanished. Now, a year later, I drive up to the house I once called mine. Trees I planted. Bricks I laid. Doors I opened for birthday parties and Christmas nights. I knock. Marianne answers. She looks beautiful, stronger, colder. Her arms crossed. I exhale. "I need it." She tilts her head. "The house. I have nowhere else. I lost everything." She smiles, dangerous, victorious. "It's gone." I blink. "Gone." "Sold. Cash. Offshore." "You can't do that." "I already did." Her eyes hold venom. "You ran off with your son's wife. Now you want shelter under my roof. This was our home." You lost that privilege the moment lust meant more than legacy. I walk away, empty, haunted. But the past never forgets. And Amanda still lingers somewhere. The feeling of nothingness settled over me like an unwanted blanket. I stood there, outside the door of the house I thought I could call my own forever. The sound of Marianne's final words echoed in my ears. The house was gone. The woman was gone. And somewhere along the way, I'd gone too. I stumbled to my car, numb. The weight of everything, of the betrayal, of my own foolishness, was starting to crush me. My fingers gripped the steering wheel, but the road blurred before me. The streets of the city felt unfamiliar. My home felt like a memory, a story told in someone else's voice. I didn't know where I was headed, only that I needed to get away from the wreckage of my own making. My phone buzzed in my pocket. I didn't want to answer. Not now. Not when everything I cared about was slipping through my fingers. But I knew it had to be something important. Some part of me, perhaps the last remaining shred of responsibility, knew that I couldn't continue running from the inevitable. I pulled the car over and answered, expecting another angry email or message from my lawyer. But no. It was her. Amanda. "Carson." Her voice sounded strained, almost trembling. I need to see you." I felt a lump form in my throat. "Amanda," I said quietly, "where are you?" There was a pause then. "I'm at the old apartment. You know, the one we used to meet at. I can't stay here anymore. I've been staying with friends, but it's not working. I need you, Carson." The words hit me harder than I expected. "You need me?" I echoed, the bitterness of the past few months mixing with the hunger of what we'd once shared. "After everything? After what happened between us?" She sighed on the other end. "Please. I'm sorry. I didn't want any of this. I thought we could." "Stop," I interrupted. I didn't know if I could hear any more of her excuses. "Just tell me what you want. Why are you calling me now?" Her voice broke. "I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. I thought I could handle being without you, Carson. I thought I could pretend everything was fine. But I can't. I can't pretend anymore. I've lost everything too." I rubbed my forehead, staring at the empty street ahead of me. The rain began to fall lightly, a soft drizzle that matched my mood. "I'll be there in 20 minutes, I said, more to myself than to her. "Stay put." I pulled into the parking lot of the old apartment building and stepped out of my car, my feet splashing in the wet pavement as I approached the entrance. The moment I stepped into the lobby, I could feel the tension in the air. Something was off. It wasn't the same place it had been when Amanda and I first met here. The memories were still fresh in my mind, the stolen kisses, the whispered promises. It was like a dream now, a dream I could never wake up from. I pressed the button to her apartment and waited. The door creaked open, and there she was, standing in the doorway, looking just as beautiful, just as alluring as I remembered. But her eyes were different. They were tired, hollow, and full of regret. "I didn't think you'd come," she whispered, stepping aside to let me in. I hesitated, feeling the weight of the past and everything that had led to this moment. I knew I shouldn't be here, but I couldn't stop myself. I stepped inside, the familiar scent of her perfume mixing with the musty air of the apartment. It was all too much. Too many memories, too much longing. "Do you want to talk?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. I didn't answer right away. Instead, I moved towards her, closing the distance between us. I could feel the pull of her, the gravity of everything we had shared, everything we had ruined. The tension in the room was palpable. She was waiting for me to say something, to do something. But I didn't have the words. Instead, I reached out and cupped her face in my hands, gently lifting her chin to meet my gaze. "Amanda," I said, my voice low, "what do you want from me?" She closed her eyes, leaning into my touch. "I want you, Carson. I've always wanted you." I leaned forward, my lips brushing against hers, tasting the familiar sweetness that had once been our secret. She responded immediately, kissing me with the same intensity, the same hunger that had consumed us before. It was as though nothing had changed. But deep down, I knew everything had changed. We had crossed lines that could never be uncrossed. My hands moved to her waist, pulling her closer. I could feel her body pressing against mine, the warmth of her skin igniting the fire inside me. But as I kissed her, as I let myself get lost in the moment, I could still hear Marianne's voice in my head, her words of betrayal, the echo of everything I had destroyed. But it didn't matter. Not in that moment. All that mattered was the feel of Amanda's lips on mine, the taste of her skin, the way she made me feel alive again. Her hands slid up my chest, and she pulled me toward the bedroom. I followed her without thinking, as if I were powerless to resist her. We didn't speak. There was no need for words. We knew what we wanted, what we had always wanted, and in the darkness of that room, we gave in to it. But even as we made love, something gnawed at me. A part of me knew this couldn't last. The lies, the deceit, the betrayal, they had all taken their toll. Amanda and I had broken something that could never be fixed. We collapsed onto the bed afterward, breathing heavily, our bodies tangled in the sheet. I could feel her next to me, her skin warm against mine. But as I closed my eyes, I realized that something was missing. I wasn't sure what it was, but I felt empty. Even in the arms of the woman I had once wanted so badly, I felt nothing but the weight of my own mistakes. She turned to me, her face inches from mine. "Carson," she whispered, "what now?" I stared at the ceiling, unable to answer. What now? What had we really done? Had we just destroyed each other for the sake of desire, for the sake of lust? Had I ruined my marriage, my family, my son, just for a fleeting moment of pleasure? I didn't know. I didn't have the answers. But I did know one thing. I couldn't go back. Not now. And as I lay there, staring into the darkness, I realized that the price of pleasure was higher than I had ever imagined. The night dragged on, and the weight of our actions lingered in the air like a thick fog. I lay there in the bed, unable to sleep, the sound of Amanda's shallow breathing beside me somehow making everything worse. My mind was a storm, chaos swirling in every direction. The guilt, the thrill, the lust, it all felt like it was consuming me, one breath at a time. I had wanted this, hadn't I? I had chosen it. But now that I had it, I couldn't shake the feeling that everything was unraveling. My world was crashing down around me, and I had no idea how to stop it. I had betrayed Marianne, destroyed my relationship with my son, and now I was here, in Amanda's arms, but feeling emptier than I ever had before. I looked at her, the woman who had once been the center of my world. But now, her presence felt like a haunting reminder of everything I had lost. I couldn't stop thinking about the call Marianne had made earlier, her words echoing in my mind. "It's gone. The house. The home we had built together. The life we had shared for so long. It was all gone. And now I was here, tangled in the sheets with Amanda, but all I could see was the wreckage I had caused. I couldn't stay here. Not like this. But I didn't know where else to go. I slipped out of bed, careful not to wake her, and padded quietly toward the window. The rain had stopped, but the sky was still dark, the streets below dimly lit by streetlights. I stared out at the city, feeling completely disconnected from everything. There was a knock at the door. I froze, heart pounding. I hadn't expected anyone. Not at this hour. It couldn't be Marianne, she wouldn't come here. Not now, not after everything. But the knock came again, more insistent this time. I cursed under my breath. I hesitated, glancing back at Amanda, still asleep in bed. The decision to open the door felt like a betrayal, but I knew I couldn't ignore it. I didn't know who it was, but I had a sinking feeling I was about to find out. I pulled on my jeans and made my way toward the door, my heart racing. With one last glance at Amanda, I opened it. And there he was. Caleb. My son. I hadn't seen him in weeks. Not since everything fell apart. His eyes were red, his face drawn. He looked like he hadn't slept in days. His presence in the doorway was like a punch to the gut. "Dad," he said, his voice tight. "We need to talk." I swallowed hard, unable to speak at first. There was so much I wanted to say, but no word seemed right. How could I explain this? How could I explain what I had done? How could I justify the mess I had made of everything? But Caleb didn't wait for me to answer. He stepped inside, brushing past me as if he owned the place. His eyes scanned the room, landing briefly on the bed where Amanda was still sleeping. I felt a sickening pang in my chest. He knew. He had to know. And yet, he didn't say anything. I closed the door behind him, my mind racing. "What's going on, Caleb?" I asked, my voice strained. "Why are you here?" He looked at me, his expression unreadable. "I just spoke with Mom," he said, his voice cracking slightly. "She told me everything." I froze. Everything? What had she said? I didn't know how much she knew or what story she'd told him, but I had no control over the situation anymore. It was all spilling out, my affair, my betrayal, my destruction of our family. "I didn't want to believe it," Caleb continued, his tone filled with anger. "I didn't want to believe that my own father would do this to me. But now I don't know what to think." I opened my mouth to say something, but no words came out. There was nothing left to say. I had betrayed him in ways I could never take back. "What do you want me to say, Caleb?" I finally whispered. "I don't have an excuse. I don't have anything." He shook his head, his jaw clenched tight. "I don't know if you ever did. I don't know what you were thinking." "I wasn't thinking, okay?" I snapped, the frustration building inside me. "I wasn't thinking when I started this whole thing. I made a mistake, but I—" "Stop," he cut me off, his voice rising. "Stop pretending like this was just some mistake. You knew exactly what you were doing. You ran off with her. With Mom's sister." He said the words like they were venom in his mouth. I recoiled. I had never wanted to hear him say it out loud. It was a betrayal so deep, I couldn't even begin to understand how to face it. But hearing Caleb say it, his voice full of disgust, was worse than anything. "I'm sorry," I whispered, but the words felt hollow. How could I apologize for something like this? How could I make amends for ruining his life? But Caleb wasn't finished. "And then you come here, demanding what's left of our life. What, you think you're entitled to it? You think you deserve the house, the family, anything?" I opened my mouth to respond, but the words wouldn't come. He was right, of course. I had no right to demand anything. I had lost everything, and it was my own fault. "I'm done with this," Caleb said finally, turning toward the door. "I'm done with you." I stood there, frozen, watching as he walked out. The door slammed behind him, and I was left in silence. It was over. I didn't know how it had happened, or how it had gone so far, but I knew I couldn't fix it. The house, the family, my son, everything was gone. And I had nothing left. I walked back to the bed, sitting down beside Amanda. She was still asleep, unaware of the storm that had just passed through my life. But I couldn't keep living like this. I couldn't pretend that everything was fine when it clearly wasn't. I looked at her, my heart heavy. "Carson," she murmured, still half asleep. "What happened? Who was that?" I swallowed hard. "My son," I said quietly, feeling the weight of the words. "He's gone." Amanda didn't respond. She just pulled me closer, as if trying to comfort me, but it felt hollow. There was no comfort to be found now. Not in her arms. Not in this bed. Not in the wreckage of everything I had built. The storm inside me was far from over. The morning after Caleb left, the weight of everything settled like a storm cloud, too heavy to ignore. I sat on the edge of the bed, the sunlight creeping through the curtains and casting a faint glow across the room. Amanda, still lying beside me, looked peaceful, blissfully unaware of the mess I had created. But I couldn't escape the wreckage I had left behind. My thoughts churned in a constant whirlpool of regret, guilt, and the bizarre longing that still clung to me like the scent of someone else's perfume. The life I had built was falling apart. My family was gone, my son was gone, and now there was nothing but the emptiness. Amanda stirred beside me, her eyes slowly fluttering open. She looked at me with those familiar, tired eyes, as if she could sense something had changed in the air. She rolled over, propping herself up on her elbows, and studied me. "Carson, what's going on? You look like you've seen a ghost." I didn't respond immediately. What was I supposed to say? That my son had just stormed out of my life for good? That everything I had built, my marriage, my family, was collapsing under the weight of my mistakes? I couldn't. I didn't have the words. Not anymore. I had a conversation with Caleb last night, I finally said, my voice hollow, drained of the energy it had once carried. He's furious. He knows about us, about everything. Amanda didn't flinch. I expected her to. But she just sat up fully, crossing her arms over her chest, her gaze unwavering. "So, what does that mean?" she asked flatly. I looked at her, feeling a pang in my chest. "It means I've lost him. I've lost everything, Amanda." Her eyes softened, but there was a strange hardness in her expression, something almost predatory. "You're being dramatic. We still have each other. We're fine." Fine. The word echoed in my mind, and I almost laughed at how absurd it sounded. It wasn't fine. It was far from fine. Fine? How are we fine? I asked, standing up and pacing across the room. "Caleb hates me. Marianne, my wife, is gone. The house, the life I thought I had, it's all gone. And here we are, together, but it feels like nothing is real anymore." Amanda didn't move from the bed. She didn't need to. She had that self-assuredness about her, the confidence of someone who had always known exactly what she wanted, and never hesitated to take it. "You're right. Nothing is real anymore," she said, her voice soft, but sharp at the same time. "You're right to say it's all gone. But you still have me." I shook my head. "This isn't what I wanted. Not like this. I didn't want to hurt my son. I didn't want to tear everything apart. I thought we had something real, but now I see how messed up it all is." Amanda stood up then, moving toward me with a sense of purpose I couldn't quite place. She reached out, touching my arm lightly. "You're wrong, Carson," she said, her voice low and intimate. "What we have is real. But you have to stop running from it. Stop pretending like you still have a choice in how this all plays out. It's too late for that." I wanted to pull away, to back off, but her touch, the way she spoke, it stirred something within me, something raw, something I couldn't deny. I'd been caught in this web, tangled in the lies and the lust, and now I didn't know how to escape. "You think it's too late for me?" I asked, my voice trembling. "You think I don't care about what I've done?" Amanda stepped closer, her fingers trailing along my chest as she spoke. You can pretend all you want, Carson, but deep down, you know you've crossed a line you can't come back from. And I'm the only one who will ever truly understand that. I pulled back, a twinge of panic rising in my chest. What are you saying? Are you saying we can't go back? Amanda smiled slowly, almost like she enjoyed the turmoil she had stirred in me. No, we can't. There's no going back for either of us. Not after what we've done. Not after what you've done. The words stung more than I expected. She was right, though. There was no going back. No undoing the damage. No way to fix the shattered pieces of my life. I had crossed a line, and now there was only the destruction that followed. As I stood there, frozen in the aftermath of her words, the reality of it all hit me again. I had ruined everything. My relationship with Caleb, the one person who had once trusted me without question, gone. Marianne, my wife, who had stood by me through thick and thin, gone. The life I had spent years building was in ashes, and here I was, standing in the ruins of it all. Amanda's voice broke through my reverie. You need to decide, Carson. Do you want this, whatever this is, or do you want to keep pretending like you can fix things? Because I'll be honest with you, I'm not interested in being a part of your broken past. I'm your future, whether you like it or not. Her words sliced through me like a blade. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what I wanted anymore. I wanted to fix things with Caleb. I wanted to apologize to Marianne. I wanted everything to go back to the way it was, before all this mess started. But deep down, I knew that wasn't possible. Not anymore. Amanda was right in one regard. There was no going back. And as much as I hated it, I could feel myself being pulled deeper into the chaos of this affair, this life I had chosen. I don't know what I want, I said, my voice barely a whisper. Amanda leaned in, pressing her lips to mine, silencing any further questions. I could feel her hunger, her desperation to pull me deeper into the abyss. And, despite the pain gnawing at me, I let her. Because that was the only thing that felt real in this mess. It wasn't love. It wasn't even lust anymore. It was something darker. Something I couldn't escape. I didn't pull away. I didn't even try.